The day my coffee became a holy offering. I was 3 weeks into my new job at a tech startup when I realized that the office had a no food in meeting rooms policy. I had no idea. I had no idea that this would lead to me forgetting to bring my coffee mug to the weekly strategy session, and then having to borrow one from a colleague who was already halfway through his third espresso. It was 9:03 a.m., and I was sitting in a meeting room on the 12th floor of the glass and steel monolith that housed our company. My hands were shaking slightly as I sipped lukewarm coffee from a paper cup provided by the office supply closet. The other team members were already deep into discussing the quarterly roadmap, their voices a low hum of jargon and buzzwords. "So," said Sarah, our lead product manager, "we've all got our thoughts on how to scale the app." She looked around the table, her eyes landing on me with the kind of blankness that only happens when you're not paying attention. I opened my mouth to speak, but then I realized something was off. My coffee tasted like it had been sitting in a carafe for 3 days. I took another sip, and it hit me, this wasn't just bad coffee. This was the kind of coffee that made your tongue feel like it was covered in sandpaper. "I'm sorry," I said, my voice cracking slightly. "I forgot to bring my mug." The room went silent. Not the kind of silence where everyone is listening intently, but the kind where you're aware of every breath and heartbeat. Sarah blinked at me. "You forgot your coffee mug?" "Yeah," I said. "I was in a hurry this morning, and I thought I had it with me." There was an awkward pause. Someone coughed. The air in the room felt thick, like the kind of atmosphere you get before a storm. Then, as if on cue, my phone buzzed. It was a notification from the company Slack channel, reminder, "Please remember to bring your own coffee mug to all meetings." I stared at it for a moment, then looked up at Sarah again. She was still staring at me, her expression unreadable. "You know," I said slowly, "this is kind of embarrassing." Sarah sighed and leaned back in her chair. "It's not the first time someone has forgotten their mug. But it's the first time I've seen anyone use a paper cup from the office supply closet." I felt my face burn with humiliation. I had just been caught in what could only be described as a moment of professional incompetence. But then, something strange happened. As I sat there, feeling like I was about to be fired on the spot, I remembered the words of my pastor from last Sunday's sermon, "In times of weakness, we must find strength in faith." I closed my eyes for a moment and took a deep breath. I had always been a person who believed that God could help me through anything, but now, as I sat there with a paper cup in one hand and the weight of the entire meeting room on my shoulders, I felt that belief more than ever. When I opened my eyes again, Sarah was still watching me. But this time, she wasn't looking at me like I was an idiot. She was looking at me like I was someone who had just passed a difficult test. "You know," she said after a moment, "sometimes the smallest mistakes can lead to the biggest realizations." I nodded, feeling a strange sense of peace wash over me. Maybe this was what God wanted for me, this small reminder that even in moments of failure, there was always hope. The meeting continued, and I managed to contribute a few ideas before it ended. By the time we were done, I felt like I had not only survived the moment but had grown from it somehow. As I walked out of the meeting room, I looked down at my paper cup one last time. It was just a piece of cardboard with a logo on it, and yet, in that moment, it felt like something more. It felt like a reminder that even in our most embarrassing moments, we could find strength and faith. Comment your worst coffee-related blunder.